Morning. I'm not anywhere prepared right now. I just had to sit down. I just finished my lesson. That light bothering you guys? What do we got? Day 25. Be positive. 8:07. So not too bad. Indian time. People, you guys had it. You guys liked that phrase for some reason. That's good. I like it too. Just when it happens, right? So what I told you yesterday was that I had a holy crap moment watching, and the reason I couldn't get it straight in my head, this is funny, is because I was actually watching two different programs. I put on one program about consciousness, and it took me going back to research and find out where I was to realize this, but I had watched one program or listened to it on consciousness and who we are in that realm, and it was a very interesting an informative show. And then I switched it to a documentary. Now, and I was getting them together. So the information I was giving you was jumbled, to say the least. But let's do this. So let's clean house first. Let's take care of some housekeeping things. Day 25. Be positive. 5 more days, people. And I am. I didn't. Like I said before, I didn't start out or make this up. This was not my plan. We borrowed the idea from the Michigan Masonic Charitable Foundation and one of their memes, and they're still doing this. They're on day 24, so they started a day after us, but they're still doing it to you. Go on their page and look at the wonderful things they're doing, and they have little slogans and things to do there. When you said you wanted to do it, and my wife's been telling me to do this forever, this podcast, this a live video, and I took her advice and did it and ran with it. And I'll tell you what, I am so grateful, extremely grateful. You guys have changed my world and shown me things that I want to do more of in the future. And I've always been doing this to a degree, but I'm really going to run with it. Why? It's just, like I said, you people are incredible in my life. You've changed my life, and I can only imagine what it would be like to do this to hundreds, maybe thousands, do this with hundreds, maybe thousands of people. So I'm gonna foster this side of my martial skills and my love for helping people. So thank you very much for that. I'm very grateful for you. Morning, guys. I've got some things to say, but let's do the housekeeping. Let's stay focused. How are you guys doing? What did you dream about? Are you keeping a dream journal? I can be honest with you and tell you the last couple of nights, I know we always dream. When I wake up, I have woken up pretty fast and neglected to try to remember them as much as I want to. I can kind of sense the feeling that they're there, lingering. But if I chase them too fast, they'll run away. There's an old Native American adage that says, the faster you chase the deer, the harder it runs away. And this is a truth in my world, in my opinion, in my experience, of all of the spiritual connectedness that I've ever had. All of the spiritual connectedness that have ever been a part of my martial skills and my life. When I use martial arts, guys, martial arts is my life. I've been doing it forever, so everything pertains and goes in and out of that. It's just, there's no separation. So I can tell you, the harder you chase your spiritual connectedness, intuitiveness, you covet it and you chase it, the faster it will run away. It's just one of those things. So I want to know how you're doing. This morning I got just a minute ago a private message from Mr. Huntley. See, and I thank you so much. And it's the same for me, buddy. He's enjoying this and he's doing really well. And he has noticed or witnessed a snowball effect in his life. He says the more that he chooses and picks the things that relate to him and applies them, and in our conversations, I can tell you this, they've always been in him. They've always been there. I've known him for a long time. All of these traits are in you too. I know it, but I can speak from me and Mr. Huntley's point of view. They've been there, and he knows it. We just get kind of a little sidetracked sometimes, and now he's picking and choosing his life, and he said there's a snowball effect, and he notices that the better he feels, the better the people around him feel. And this is what we're going to talk about today. See you later. That's all right. Oh, are you leaving? Okay. Have a great day. Miss Johnson's leaving. Her black belt lesson was today, and I just sat down. So there's a snowball effect, and that kind of pertains to what we're going to talk about today. Some of the stuff I learned in the holy crap moment from this documentary. Now, I'll share with you the name of the documentary. I can't remember the guy's name because I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. Well, excuse me, let me rephrase that. I'm getting better about it, but I didn't write it down this morning. So the name of the documentary was I Am, and the gentleman who did it is the guy who directed Ace Ventura. And I think he directed Evan Almighty and Bruce Almighty. I think those are his movies. And the other show is Beyond Belief. There's a Beyond Belief section on the Gaia channel. I think that's how you pronounce it. And in there, they have consciousness classes or speeches, lectures. And those are the two. So the holy crap moment, a piece of it that I want to share with you. I wrote some notes so I didn't forget. His question on the documentary was, "What's wrong with the world?" Okay, now that's a huge question, and his question stems from him being overstimulated financially. Can you imagine that? He said he went from kind of poverty to a struggling artist to wham, now he's buying mansions and cars and stuff. And he said he still wasn't happy. And you hear that a lot. Money does not buy happiness. It can buy you a lot of nice things to be happy with, but it doesn't buy you happiness. You are you no matter where you go. So his question was, what's wrong with the world? That's a big one. And he was going to seek out, with his ability, through his money, seek out world top teachers, metaphysical teachers, spiritual teachers, the people that he actually had contact with. He didn't get to Gandhi or anything like that, but he talked to some really interesting people, and he got a chance to talk to some scientists, and he took it on a different approach. And the basic, I'll give you one of the basics, because he went like me, he went all over the place with it, which I liked. One of the things was they came up with, as a society in the world, Western United States, or not the Western United States, but the Western America, us, the United States, and some of the surrounding superpowers, let's say that, have created an environment of competition and taught people that competition is the way that it should be. Ivan, what was his name, the director of Wall Street, coined a phrase back in the 80s, greed is good. Greed works. Greed cuts through and clarifies. And when that came out, I was a financial consultant and I love the movie Wall Street, but it rang true with most people. If you're greed for love, greed for life, greed for profit, greed for health, greed for success, those things were good. And you look at society as a whole, and the competitive nature of people tends to put one another against each other. Now, okay, competition can be a very useful tool. It helps us grow, innovate, push forward. I mean, think about it. You compete with yourself, you compete with the ideas. When you compete with others, in the documentary, he brought up, there's a line of compassion that gets blurry and then lost. And it's true. It is true. Think about it. And no matter if you like competition, you like competitive sports or not, that is a truth. And I used to love football, used to love it. This whole kneeling crap thing and all the nonsense that's going on around the football. And that's my opinion, guys, okay? It has nothing to do with race or nothing like that. It's just a bunch of crap doesn't belong on football, okay? I can't watch it anymore. I just can't, it's just ridiculous. So, but I love competition in those ways. I played football. As a martial artist, our competition doesn't become others, it becomes ourselves. But early on in martial arts, I competed in tournaments, lots of them. Won about every weekend that I could for a long time in Arizona. There's lots in California and Utah, New Mexico, and that whole Region 4 and Region 2 area over there in the divisional, with Parker's Championships and the ISKK and the NCKK. There was tons of tournaments, and I loved competing. It wasn't about killing the other person, though, or destroying them or proving that they suck. For me, that was never the competition. The competition was, this guy's really good. I'm going to rise up and try and beat him. And if I can't, next time I come back, I'm going to try and beat him every time. And then the whole respect thing came in, with being a good sport. Being a good sport, how does that work? Well, you're positive. if you get your butt handed to you by somebody who's better than you, how cool is that? On a football field or in a tournament, martial arts tournament, on a tennis court, wherever, in a debate. How cool is that? You get the opportunity to grow. That to me is competition. Now, the competition they were talking about that blurs the line is when we start taking from others, when we start thinking that we have to have everything and they get nothing. We separate ourselves as groups of people, whether it be by color, nationality, what we like, what we do, or the hats we wear. There was an experiment done. One of my students who's a doctor was telling me about this experiment, the red hat, blue hat experiment. And what they did was they picked, 100 random people, and they put 50 in one group and 50 in another with nothing in common. They were just random people. And in the experiment, they said to this group, you wear the red hats. Okay, and this is not a political thing, okay? And you wear the blue hats. I could have picked green and yellow. Let's just do that. Green hats and yellow hats, okay? And I know it's a Michigan thing, but don't worry about it. So the green hats were to get more points in this challenge. It was intellectual, it was physical, but it was on their own. They did it in the group. So they each answered questions and built things as a group, not against these other people. But the other color hats, the blue hats or the yellow hats, whatever you want to choose, we're supposed to get more points than them too. So automatically, all of a sudden, what they noticed was because of the color of the hat, the groups were able to separate and create this intense competition against the other people, not the other hats, the other people, because of the hat. That separation has become part of our society. So his question was, what's wrong with the world? That became one of the answers. The need to put other people down to raise you up is ridiculous. Building yourself up and becoming better is always the better choice. You don't do it to spite other people. You do it in spite of other people. Does that make sense to you guys? Being positive and being negative is a choice. Do we do it to show the negative people that they're wrong? No. We don't do it to spite them. Look at your negativity. I'm happy. No. We do it in spite of them. They can be negative if they want to. We're going to be happy. We're going to be positive. Now, what I found was cool was the next thing he did. He went to a place called Heart Math. Heart Math is a institute. I can't remember where it was now, but in this institute, they are researching the heart, right? And certain things about the heart. I mentioned this yesterday. When we talk about being positive, can we think ourselves positive? Yes, we can do that. Can we speak ourselves positive? Yes, we can do that. You guys have the tools. I know that you're doing it. I watch you doing it. It's incredible, and you're sharing with me, and that makes me feel good. So you're making me positive as well. Do I have negative moments? Let's reframe the word negative and let's say less than positive, because I don't want to be negative anymore. So in the Heart Institute, what they're teaching, what they're finding out is that the heart is actually the first point of contact with your consciousness, your spirituality, and even your brain, your body. Yesterday I said that the heart sends like 90% of the signals to more than the brain sends to the heart. That was a misstatement, and I thought it might have been. When I did my research, it was the body sends 98% of the signals to the brain. So the brain, 98% more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the body. Now, it's a symbiotic relationship. Know that. They're not separate by any means, but the body sends more signals up than down is what they're finding out. And the heart sends the first signals to the brain. So you function from your heart first. Now, this is their research, not mine. I researched them and looked this up, and it seems to be a consensus. I haven't found anything that says, no, they're wrong, but I didn't only dug for a day, okay? So you watch the documentary, do your own research, but what I liked was this, and I believe that this is probably true, okay? The heartbeat sends out a magnetic pulse of energy. A magnetic field radiates from and around us, and I know that. I know that from studying Qi. I know that from studying acupuncture and acupressure, and I know that from Eastern medicines. We have an esoteric double. We do. Whether you want to believe it or not, it exists. It's like gravity. Whether you want to believe it or not, you jump out of a building, gravity's good. It's a law. It's going to exist, okay? That esoteric double is what people use as their sensation, their senses. You know when somebody's close proximity to you. You do. You can feel it, right? You even know when people are thinking about you, talking about you, or looking at you from a distance, and you're not directly in their sight. You do know. Some of you train and teach yourselves to ignore your natural instincts, and I'll tell you how that works too. But we do as people, sometimes we let other people tell us you don't know what you're talking about, and pretty soon you're beat down to the point to where you ignore your instincts. No, when I think that, I've been told I'm thinking wrong. I need to stop thinking that way. Don't do that to yourself, okay? So we know with our magnetic field, we're energy, right? We are energy. Everything is energy. So if that's the truth, and it is, we should be able to sense other people, other things, energy when we do, and we absolutely do all the time. And this is what the holy crap moment was about. And Mike Huntley's comment about snowballing the positivity, and us in our daily, what we're doing here, being positive has a trickle down effect throughout our lives. And you know it to be true, right? So if as the heartbeat creates that magnetic field around us, in their research, the Heart Math Institute has found that people can pick up the magnetic impulses that radiate from our heart in their brain. Let me say that again. What we're feeling, they can sense. Have you ever witnessed that in your life? What you feel, others pick up on, or how others are feeling, you can pick up on. If you have a close relationship, have you ever been in the same room with your significant other and went, something's not right? Boy, what did I forget to do? Did I leave the trash out? Did I leave the toilet seat up? Did I leave is there no toilet paper in the bathroom? What did I do that set this off? And you ask them, is everything okay? And what do they say? Generally, and I'm not picking on women, but females will go, I'm fine. And you know damn well it's not. That sense has got to be her heart talking to your brain, or his heart talking to your brain. You know what I mean? And you know that. So relationships do that for each other. If that's possible, we're just like your cable, or your transmitter and the television set. What they're transmitting, we're receiving. What they're showing us, we're feeling. This is a truth that I love. Why? Because we're talking about being positive. When we do that, we come from a place in our heart. We start everything we do with love, right? So when we start our day with love. When we start anything that we're going to achieve or accomplish in the day, we don't do it out of spite. We don't do it out of, I'm going to crush somebody else, which is a tendency of some people. And you gotta make this not a part of your world, people. You don't need to crush somebody else to rise up and be better. You really don't. Are there people in the world that, I'm not going to say that. There are bad people that, when a warrior comes across somebody crushing, I don't want to say that. We'll talk about that in martial arts video. Okay. So eliminate that from your life. Start everything from your heart. Start with love, and it will radiate from you. Your heart will show the love to other people around you. Now, if you walk around being positive and you do it congruently and sincerely from your heart, people will feel that. Do you believe that? Yes, they will. And Mr. Huntley said it. He said it's a snowball effect, Jim. It's starting to change the world of people around me. And I know this to be true. I can get on the floor and change in the dojo and change the entire atmosphere of the room. I can get on stage and take 3,000, 10,000, 15,000 people and change their mood. I can take them from being extremely exuberant and happy to crying about, a great memory or something. Not because I suck at they're crying. I could probably do that too. But it's because it comes from here. It comes from here. And I do that when I teach. I do that when I sing. I do that when I speak. I do that when I counsel or coach people. And I do that. So the old holy crap moment was that the heart is the first contact to the consciousness, the spirit, the soul, and others. Now, in this documentary, and I didn't get to do a whole lot of research on this, but I want you to think about this and maybe research it. they have a random number machine somewhere in this documentary. The random number machine, and I'm not sure if it's hooked to the mechanical the electrical field around the Earth. I can't remember what it regulates the numbers from, but it's just a random number machine, and it's consistently going all the time and sending out by feedback to the people, the scientists that are monitoring it. What it does is it is extremely random. I mean, nines and ones and tens, not tens, just one and a zero, but all kinds of different numbers at all the time, until there's a major catastrophe or a major gathering of people. Now, follow me. This machine is constantly picking up its information from somewhere. And I think it's the magnetic field around the Earth, but look into it, okay? When 9/11 happened, if you look at the chart, you remember 9/11? And we came together as a nation. The chart stopped giving random numbers, and as we pulled together, it had a systematic, organized set of numbers, ones and zeros, consistently. Different patterns, but ones and zeros across the board. And it spiked in its intensity. Interesting, right? As it faded, of course, went back to random numbers. The tsunami that hit, some of the tsunamis, the big, large ones, and the hurricanes that hit, the same thing happens. We come together as a nation, we help other people, we give of ourselves. These numbers on this huge computer stop being random and calculate themselves into ones and zeros again, as if by design. Now, what does that mean? What it reminds me of is that we are all connected. We are all one. Our energy, as we manifest or produce it, is not just a transmitter, but a receiver and a filter. As bad, negative things come toward us, we can receive and transmit, or we can filter, eliminate, and send out what we prefer. That's what this challenge is about, right? Being positive. Okay, so that was my holy crap moment. I know my delivery is a little subdued today. I'm trying to maintain. There have been some challenges recently in my life that are self-induced, as they all are. There are actions by people. When you put yourself out there, you're going to get, the gambit of people. And in martial arts, it's a big thing. And I wrote a couple things down to remember. And I want you to remember this, and I'll close today with this. On our challenge, we're looking to be more positive. I have heard from you, and I am watching you make incredible strides in that area. And knowing that you're doing it gives me hope for everybody else. And because of you, I am going to foster this ability that I have to ramble in a direction that makes sense to a lot of people. And we're going to build it, okay? And I want your help. So share my YouTube channel with as many people as you can, and I'll continue this podcast. We'll start a new challenge in August, June, July, August, right? At the end of July, we're done with this challenge. We'll start another one, or even we don't have to call it a challenge if you want to. We can just call it, whatever, and we can do whatever topic you guys want. I've got a few that I'd love to talk to you about, and there's so many things to say, but we can do what you want. So on that note, I'm sorry. Be positive. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to do this, and thank you for telling me that it's helping. And I am going to continue it. I am. So help me grow it, if you will. So we're going to start everything from the heart. Start everything with love. That's the first thing to remember. Start everything with love. Number two, I wrote this down. When your beliefs are challenged, and we're challenging certain beliefs, right, and certain paradigms, and definitely challenging other people's beliefs. If you've talked to this about anybody and they have naysayed it, don't want to change, you've found that type of feedback, you move past it. But when you're being challenged, ask yourself this question. Do you rise up to the challenge? Or let's say somebody challenges your belief, and it doesn't have to be you're wrong and I'm right. It can be this is what I believe. What do you believe? And that could be considered a challenge, right? Not a hey challenge, but a wow, I've never thought about that. So which one are you? Are you the I've never thought about that, I'm going to consider it, put the hat on, research it, try it, keep what I like, get rid of what I don't. And of course, that would depend upon the person it's coming from too, right? It shouldn't, but it does. Sometimes it's even the tone of voice or the way they speak that makes it seem credible or not. Don't ask me why it is, but you know it is, okay? Try to get past that because good things can come from anywhere. I can't remember who said it, but one of the quotes I like was, what was said to open the rose was said to my heart in my chest for you. And I like that. And also the last thing, and then I'll let you go, for me to remember today is imitation is the highest form of flattery. I got to try and remember that as I go through these next days and challenges. There's a challenge that has been occurring in my life for over 20 years now, and it happens, and I do it too. I imitate Steve Perry when I sing Journey. Well, to a point. I try to emulate the feeling of the song, right? I don't try to be Steve Perry, even though I put on a coat and comb my hair that way. Anyway, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Remember that, Jim. Remember that, Jim. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, and we'll get through this. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed this. Day 25, be positive. I got no real challenges for you today other than, maybe look at that. I know time is, in high demand, but if you get a chance, if nothing else, stop and remember that your heartbeat is radiating a magnetic impulse. It's radiating this energy around you, and what you change in here is felt out there, and other people can pick it up. You don't need to say a word to change somebody's life. How cool is that? Just be who you are. You're incredible people. I love it. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow is Friday. It'll be early before I go to a show tomorrow. I get to sing different stuff tomorrow. This is really cool. I'm helping some friends out, actually, kind of joined the band, so to speak, Arena Rock out of Detroit. And I get to sing Elton John and Styx and Journey, of course, and REO Speedwagon and Def Leppard, Mark Farner. You get to do Grand Funk Railroad. I'm Your Captain. It's something I've never done before in my life. So these songs, this tomorrow night show is going to be a freaking blast. I can't wait. I get to sing Tiny Dancer for my daughter Danielle. I think that's it. I love you guys. Say goodbye to Yoda. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Until then, keep them coming, and thank you. I love you.